Good afternoon. Welcome to Backyard Gauntlet 5, Week 23, Monday Night Rollback. I'm Jamie, also known as Reinart, and I'm here with Weirdling.
Oh yeah.
Case of Chaos.
Case of Chaos. Which I am not. So, yeah. So you took the belt from Green Palabard last week.
Hey man, I told you, you should have killed me.
Yeah, but that's not the point. I want to have you so that I have some challenge to actually face, because I'm usually coming second place when I'm fighting you, or when I was fighting Green Palabard as well. It seems to be my permanent position, the second place. But yeah, like last week was really exciting because you had like a massive it was the gauntlet of the 5 game matches.
Yeah, like it was the biggest shift we've had in the gauntlet for weeks, with Palabard being the champion. And then basically every game went to game 5, which was great.
Well, almost every game.
Almost every game.
Well, it's good to see that we are reaching a point where the competition is like fairly even and there's like minuscule differences between all of us.
Yeah, like honestly, for most of the weeks it tends to be like 3-0 matches, but I don't think that is an accurate reflection of how those matches actually go.
I mean, even if it's a 3-0, like you can tell that if that 3-0 is like really close.
Yeah.
Like you can go down to the absolute wire on every single round, and you can still have a 3-0.
Yeah.
So it also matters. But obviously, at the end of the day, we only care about the match wins, because you need to have some sort of system to declare a winner.
Yeah, the rounds only really matter when it's a draw, and it's not so often that it is a draw.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we ever had a draw in terms of like to decide who was at least, champion or like second place. But we had like on the lower end of the spectrum, we always had the like face-offs and stuff. Well, or like, for the second place at least.
Yeah, tiebreakers are... Sorry. The Bottonbiichi Match is often determined by round win tiebreakers.
Yeah. So, yeah, should we get into this?
Yeah, let's get started.
We're gonna get you absolutely sieged.
We'll see if you can.
Well, let's see
if you can break down the wall, brother.
Yes. Let's rock.
Let's rock. Oh, nice. New versus screens this week. Looking real sweet. Yeah. Said to mix things up this week, take on the Palabard first.
Yeah, I didn't quite get why you would do that, because generally speaking, you tend to go for the reverse order.
I do, but I think I felt a little bad always fighting Case of Chaos first, so I opted like, I'll fight the Palabard first this week.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Like, I also kind of just wanted to get this out of the way.
I mean, considering that he has beaten you 2 weeks ago, it is a strong possibility that he can get you.
Get me again, yeah.
Okay.
So, let's get started. Game 1, round 1.
We're a defensive start on his part.
As soon as I see him block with 2 PLs, I can't press anything.
Oh, counter. What were you trying to do there?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I think going into this match, I'm still, even though I beat the Palabard last week, I'm still a little shaken from the loss I took 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm playing a bit more careful, yeah.
Gold burst.
Yeah, nice gold burst. Get off me back in that corner.
Oh, the patience.
He thought it was Mega Fist, and rightly so.
I mean, I would expect a Mega Fist there. It's always the Hammerfall.
It's always the Hammerfall. I see the laggy normal, I'm like, right, great, I can just get in. And perfect example, it was Mega Fist that time. 2S's me straight up the sky.
You didn't manage to flick the ransom that time.
That's the situation I'm still not quite sure what to do about. I can't carry back Mega Fist to keep the corner pressure on, so I tend to get 2 hits in and I'm forced at the corner again. Oh.
Even though you whiff the heat knuckle, you still have enough time.
I think just enough time. I think a couple of frames longer and you'd have popped off the wall.
Oh, that's just...
I expect him to stick higher and a panic mash to 6H, because it's my best button for breaking a wall.
Yeah. Apart from dust.
think this Potemkin's 6H might do a little bit more damage than Charge Dust, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
Palbard a little slow to punish the Hammerfall. He's normally really good to get the 2k to punish the negative move, but just wasn't quite ready for it.
You're getting your flex on point now. Yeah.
Nice.
As I call it out, it happens again. There we go.
I think I'm slightly emboldened on that from last week, where I was able to hit a good couple of flicks without the Palbard blowing me up afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think there is a way to flick Rensen as Potemkin and not take the hit, even if he does do the blast, but a lot of these I'm getting away with on Palbard is not committing to do the blast after doing his Rensen.
Yeah.
Doing a good job full screen. I'm a bit more ready for his aerial pressure that he's been implementing more and more. So push it back, tries to catch you out the jump slash.
It's always the hammer. Like the thing is that there's so few things you can do about Hammerfall because there are so few hits that you can get with Axel or basically anyone that hits twice before you get in.
If I'm far enough away, 5k 6k, no 5p 6k or 6k 5p, if it goes that way, will stuff me because it's fast enough, but I need to be at a certain range for it.
I mean, as someone who plays against you, I think the best bet is just to wait for the Hammerfall to connect and then 6p.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you no longer have the armor once the fist connects. So.
I'm not quite sure how many of the competitors know this, but you can grab the Potemkin out of Hammerfall before the fist is closed, if you time it right.
Oh, okay. I mean, the problem is that you use Hammerfall as a reaction most of the time. So as you can see it, like you could just see it right there. He froze at the I think it was the 5p, and you reacted with Hammerfall. So he had no way unless he purple cancelled. You just definitely hit him in the face.
It's a good punch with Palbard going for the blast there after a flick, guaranteeing he took the round.
Slide head onward.
And catch trap push a button here, go from a big corner combo.
Yeah, for the reasonable damage.
No carry back Mega Fist, no problem.
This is one of my issue with Potemkin is that you only need one punish and then you take away like 80% of our health. So all you need to get is like one situation where it's optimal and that's it.
It does help that half of the players. Oh, that is unfortunate. The heart box extended the full length of Axel's chains, meaning it gets caught by the wall and it gets them right before he touches the ground.
Oh, that's another bullshit thing from Potemkin. There we go.
Yeah, it does help.
Adding to the list of bullshit from Potemkin.
It does help that half of the competitor's choice of character does have like a lower health or defensive value. Like Axel having a negative defensive value. I'm not sure about Viking actually.
I think Viking is actually quite tough. The only reason she felt like she wasn't tough enough is because that's Palbard trying to do his time stuff. It doesn't work.
Cowering in the corner just in case.
If you can see, yeah, it's just if you see the install on him and all you can see is 6 feet, that is definitely him trying to pull that off. Ooh.
I feel like I got very lucky there. He just picked the wrong option and that allowed me to take the final game.
If he could have done the time stop on time, this could have easily been just a regular old game win, and then it would have gone to the fourth game.
Like right enough, I was crouch blocking the corner expecting the time stop, but if you had connected that would have led into a combo into a wall break and definitely would have taken the round.
Yeah, I mean you had like 2 hits worth of health left.
Yeah,
so
like, Palbard likes to complain that Axel doesn't do enough damage, but considering what Axel's like, I feel like he does plenty of damage.
No, I called him out on that because if you do your Rensen to explosion and it hits, and then you throw out the second Rensen to explosion, that is like 25%.
It's a lot.
So it's not like you don't have the damage. It's just like you need to understand that if you have your pokes, which are like full screen, like by the time the opponent gets in, you're gonna chip away so much health that if you did more damage than that, it would be like Happy Chaos level of bullshit where you just like absolutely destroy the opponent from the other side of the screen. And if they try to move in, you use one of those like get away from me moves, and then you just carry on that massive like damage pressure that you can do full screen. It's just Yeah, you shouldn't have that as a zoner.
Like, I know a lot of characters can 2-touch, 3-touch other members of the cast, but it does kind of feel like if Axel gets a proper combo, it's only 4 touches, and I'm probably dead, if not just about dead. It just takes a couple of little tickles
Yeah, I mean,
range at that point.
you have the signature combo that the GPB does, where it's like I can't actually remember the proper sequence, but it involves a purple Roman as he's pulling you in, and
It's
then
a
he
sweet
just
combo.
and then he just does basically the bread and butter again, and gets you blown up at the end of it, which is like it is a really strong combo. It's like 30% if everything hits.
Like,
So it's not really like low damage when you look at what Axel can do. Like obviously like some of the rush downs can do more damage when they get in, but the idea is that you need to get in the first place. Whereas with Axel, it's just like you can do almost everything from like half screen or further.
yeah, and even if the combo costs half your meter, it still resets them to full screen, so you're back at the position you want to be, as well as picking up about 30% damage on the opponent.
Oh yeah, even if you trade with Axel, you just go full screen. So a trade with Axel is actually a win for Axel, because unless it's obviously like chip damage and he dies. But in every other scenario, you just go full screen, and then you're exactly where he wants you.
Balbard was telling me about something he's been actively considering. When I knock him down and I go for the Garuda Oki, he is intentionally jumping to eat the Garuda, because yes, he takes some damage, but it gets him out of the Oki situation, and it puts him back to full screen. It's actually kind of advantageous for him to just eat the move.
But that only works if you don't do it as a meaty, because if it's a meaty, you don't have time to jump. You just eat it on the ground. But if you slightly mistime it and he has the time to jump, then yeah, then it works. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I've got the best timing on the meaty Garuda, but I do try and figure out some tricks to try and help myself time it.
Well, you're pretty good with the meaty, because if it wasn't meaty, I can parry it, and I usually can. So I think your meaties are on point.
Oh, thank you.
Right, should we get to the next one?
Yes.
All right.
Next game, let's go.
Match 2. It's Case of Chaos with a really appropriate face.
That face is amazing.
I was like, he's always so concerned with this matchup that I was like, okay, I definitely need to get the concerned Leo face on this matchup.
This perfectly conveys the emotion that he expressed upon, oh, I'm glad I don't have to fight you this week. I just have to fight the Palabard.
Yes, and now it's like back to...
So I said I didn't want to fight Case of Chaos first, and I've ended up fighting him second. But
Well, at least it's not first.
that is true. I'm trying to save my harder opponents for last. Not that I'm trying to use Palabard or Case of Chaos as a warm-up, but it helps to get a couple of games under my belt before facing yourself or Senpuu.
No, but like statistically speaking, like you know who finishes in the top 3 most of the time.
Yeah.
And Palabard is someone who's like really like fluctuating, but Case of Chaos is consistently on the lower end. So I do understand, even though it sounds mean, but it's still like fair.
That was supposed to be a slide head, but can we comment on that Case of Chaos is beating the shit out of me?
I just love how I was just talking about how he is like on the lower end of the competition, and then he just fucking perfects you on the first round.
I was laughing my ass off when he perfected me, but I was also sweating internally.
The internal sweat. Nice.
I'm just throwing out pokes here, trying to catch him with something, but Case Chaos's patience is something that I have been struggling to deal with more often than not. Everyone else is so aggressive.
Yeah, but also like if he has two modes. It's either like unsolicited patience or absolute blind rage. There's no in between. There's no like controlled anger with Case of Chaos. It's always just either too passive or way too active, and then he eats it.
Trying to inflict the wall fear, and he is absolutely ready for my setup. None of that, get off of me. He does quite heavily lean on the run through, so when you see his Leo start to run, you can expect more often than not. Of course he does the regular when I say that, but you can just grab him.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm super afraid of you when it comes to the delayed follow up on the Kabari. It's because as soon as I cross you up, you're just gonna grab. It's the same thing. If I land in front of you, like my thing would not be just to grab someone who lands in front of me. My instant reaction would be like, okay, now I need to get some short range stuff and get something started. But you always grab.
It's my fastest option, grab swap 2 frames, versus my next fastest option is my 5p at 5 frames.
Yeah.
But also because it just dunks them right down in front of me,
Yeah.
it sets up the situation that I want. So I get my Garuda pressure started.
Here comes the case of chaos patience.
Right now I am. I said I was sweating earlier, and if I was sweating earlier, the puddle is now forming around my feet.
And this is where, like, if it was me, I would not give you this much respect, because all I need is one hit, so I would just like throw out everything I can. Like, yeah, like that projectile was good.
Like, I think it might have been a good idea for Case of Chaos to look at my health bar and consider that he could chip me out here.
Oh yeah, definitely. All you need is like a special move. But that's it, like you open him up because he's respecting everything you do.
Damn, that's a kill.
And that kills. So...
I have been working on those Mega Fist Roman cancels recently. I noticed a couple weeks ago that I'm not spending meter outside of supers really, or outside of post buster, but there's a lot more damage I could be picking up by cancelling after a successful Hammerfall or Mega Fist, so I've really been trying to think about it.
Oh yeah, like there's always room for improvement.
I think it was a panic burst as we traded, thinking that he'd just taken hit raw.
And this is like I think this might be a good indication of the general like mental state of Case of Chaos. Like he just lost a round when he was he lost a match or a game, so to say, when he was like respecting you too much. So in this one, he's acting a bit more aggressive.
That
He's
time,
the heavenly.
that time I knew he would jump for a slid up. Rarely does Case of Chaos jump, but in my heart, that was a jump.
And it was. But yeah, this is what I've been telling you about. Like, I don't think you are like significantly better than the rest of us, but you just need to make call outs. Look at that. It's just like you had one read, and that's the amount of health that goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like granted that he could have jumped the buster, but what really happened here is that he made a mistake, you got a fat punish, and then you did the buster as well. So you basically ended up taking away 90% of his health for one mistake.
Yeah, watching it back like this, you can see the health bar, that close slash 2H Mega Fist, it's about 40%. Land right in front of him, go for the buster, it's another 40, already doing yellow health.
Yeah, so this is exactly what nobody else can do, and this is why I'm telling you that Potemkin is full of bullshit.
I would agree that I don't think I'm much better than anyone else, but I think I do a good job of remembering everyone's habits, and from week to week I can use that to capitalise. Kiss Chaos asked me, why aren't you in Celestial yet at Rollback this Monday? And honestly, when I'm outside of the rollback situation and I'm fighting strangers online, I'm a lot weaker because I don't know their habits as well as I know you guys. We've been doing this for 23 weeks now?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's usually the exact opposite with me, because I'm much more comfortable with people who I don't know, because it's much easier, at least to me, it's much easier to just go with like general patterns at what the characters that, you know, the specific characters like players tend to do in situations, and it's just like, are you one of the majority people, or are you gonna just completely surprise me and see what happens?
That's true. The reason I'm so ready to 6p the air dashes in from your Viking is that Vikings just do that.
Yeah, there's not much you can do that's not like an air approach, because it's either you throw out the Kabari or you just in the Buster, of course. It's the Buster.
It's the Buster. Punishing DPs left, right, and center.
Classic. Good shit, Potemkin.
So yeah, Honestly, that was really hard. The first match, Case Chaos, as we saw, beating the absolute fuck out of me, getting a perfect round one. I don't remember round two, but the third game, just staring at each other, low health, pokes, sweating. I had to completely adapt between game one and game two, or I think he honestly would have beat me this week had I continued to play how I was.
Oh, it would have been so funny.
That would have been great.
Imagine like just him being the first person to defeat you on a specific week, and it's like everybody's like, oh no, now we need to all defeat the Reinart because we cannot let the Case of Chaos win the belt. I mean, yeah, obviously, like we do want to have him as the champion at some point.
I may have been champion this week, but I'm Case of Chaos's biggest fan. I always want him to defeat me. It'll be such a pop off.
It was the same on Backyard and Stone. It was GPB and I who managed to defeat you, and I was like facing him off, and I really wanted him to win, but I also didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
So I got into the situation where it would be just so nice if he actually took the belt for once. But I was also like, I also want the belt because I haven't had the belt since I played Biken, so it's super annoying. I'm always like second or third, so I was like, okay, I need to get him. But at that point, he was just ready. So,
does that make you our most consistent player?
I don't know. I thought you were the most consistent player because I have been. I think if we were to just break down based on the possessions that we have at the end of rollbacks, I think silver would be the most acquired medal for me throughout the entire BGF at this point.
I am kind of looking forward to seeing the end of your stats, much like what happened at the end of last year.
Oh yeah, but like I'm not gonna do that until like December.
December, yeah.
But then we could do like a full year, and then just like a full like career so far kind of comparison.
Like here's the 2022 year, and then career overall.
Then, yeah, it's like BGF lifetime accolades, and you just see what people got, how many golds, how many silvers, how many other titles like jailed and stuff.
Yeah, like I think numbers are interesting. So when you did that at the end of last year, I was like, oh, stats.
Yeah, but that was like what? Like how many weeks did we have at that point? Like 7 or so.
7 or 8, something like that.
It was quite early on. I mean, it's not like this whole competition is like really like long at this point because like 23 weeks is like. I mean, it's fairly long, but considering that it's like one every week.
Yeah, we're coming up on half a year at this point, I think.
Yeah. Slowly. But yeah, it's something like the whole reason, the reason we started this whole thing is to improve ourselves and each other. So what you really want is that to see your progression, you want to see what kind of medals you got, because if you're constantly getting the wooden spoon, that means that you are. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're stagnating, but your improvement is at least on par with everybody else, or at most on par with everybody else, because you are consistently still the wooden spoon, if that makes any sense.
I don't know if Case of Chaos reviews the footage at all, but I really feel like he should.
Oh no, he did say to me that he tends to watch the bits where he's involved.
Because if he's feeling bad about having the spoon frequently, you should watch your gameplay back, man. Not even watch and look for errors, but you're doing way better than you think you are.
Yeah, well, the main reason to watch it back is to see where you went wrong.
Yeah.
To know what not to do next. And it's a painful process, but that's the only way.
Sometimes I just think he could do with the mental buff of, oh hey, I didn't get destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that works. Right. Let's see the next match.
Let's roll. Senpuu, Game 3 against Senpuu Rezan. I figured it would be, though they played very differently, I felt I'll just get the second Leo out of the way while I'm ready for run through, etc, DPs,
Yeah, I mean, you're already in the mindset of playing against the Leo, so.
Pretty much that. I didn't want to switch to dealing with Baiken to come back to dealing with Leo again.
Yeah.
I think it's probably easier to make the adjustment between Case of Chaos and Senpuu than it is to adjust to you and adjust back to Senpuu.
I mean, considering how different they are in terms of gameplay, like, even though it's the exact same character, like, generally speaking, what they do is just so vastly different.
I think the round opener there is a good example of what I was talking about knowing you guys. More often than not, I've noticed Senpuu has 2 round start options. It's either backdash or jump and backdash, which reduces the options I need to select from the start of the round rather significantly. So like there, I read backdash, mainly because last time I think it was air backdash, and he tends to alternate, and yeah, got it right.
Oh, okay. Yes, please give us the secret so we can prepare for it.
I do kind of feel like a little bit like when I went out the round 1, game 1 initial exchange at Rattle Senpuu, just a little. Not massively. He's pretty good at shrugging things off, but I feel like it does. Oh, we spoke about this during the match. We were both supposed to grab there, and it came out from neither of us. Perfect.
Nice. The double DP action. Okay. Very defensive on both ends. Ah, yes.
I feel like Senpuu and I have gone full circle in that this is how the match is played out initially, and then he kind of stopped using the projectile very much because I was flicking it a lot, and then he moved back towards the projectile and back towards this somewhat more defensive style of play.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much, it's getting really close to what Case of Chaos does.
Like, I hesitate to call it defensively because I feel like Senpuu is just looking for a left punish by hanging back as opposed to trying to play defensively, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the defensive gameplay. You're looking for a whip, or you're looking for a a long recovery. Oh, how did that actually work? Because it looked like he was jumping.
I'm sure you can jump out of that if there's like a timing window where there's nothing to be done. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that was the perfect timing window where it looked like he didn't even touch the ground before the buster dropped.
Right.
Try it again, no Kara.
The one thing I love about the clashing the DP is that it stops it. So if you do get a clash, then all of a sudden the Leo player is just like, oh shit, what do I do now? I'm still on the ground.
Often when I'm clashing with Senpuu, he tends to be the one to react faster to the DP has ended.
Oh, okay.
And I don't mash anything. I'm like, the DP is happening. Oh no, we clashed. Oh, I've been hit.
It's usually the other way around between me and him. Like I tend to see the clash before he does, so I just mash something really quick. Oh, the counter is that your 2K?
It's my 2D, yeah.
2D, okay. So the counter 2D into hammer fault is just so strong. That's usually how you finish your games.
It is often how I finish the games. Sometimes I go for it and it's not quite enough damage, and I lose my pressure or my advantage by going for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it feels like it's always worth it. Plus, the more often I do it, the better timing I'll have on actually getting it.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That was unfortunate.
That's something that I had with RG all the time. That if you just finish your Fujin string and then you try to red RC and it's just too far.
I keep going for the RC following the Mega Fist, but I'm just pressing the button too early, so the shockwave is missing my opponent.
Oh right. Okay.
So I land and I'm able to be punished.
I mean, you could always try the. Wait, are you doing the dashing Roman cancel?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm supposed to be doing it purple, which is the problem.
Oh, okay.
I need to wait till I'm lower.
Right. Oh, you're Oh, that was too far for the pinball. Yeah, it looks like that every situation where you have the upper hand is when he does a DP and you just block it.
I mean, it's Senpuu, right? There's a 50% chance at any moment it's DP.
I mean, yes. It's almost like flipping a coin. Like every button press is like, oh, is it gonna be a DP now? No. Okay.
Like, it has honestly made me a lot more hesitant to start up my pressure on him. I don't often go for immediates against Senpuu anymore because I'm expected to be DP.
Oh yeah, but the DP actually can be grabbed, and this is something that
I mess up all the time. I'm supposed to be able to bust him out of it, but rarely do I get it.
Can you actually bust it out? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
That's a good play.
I think there's a small window where the attack is active, but he has not left the ground yet.
Yeah. So I know that I can definitely grab him if I just run up and wait for the first couple of frames of the DP. Well, I cannot tell if Buster has the same property. I mean, it's a command grab, so it should technically be stronger than any regular grab. So I'm assuming that is possible. It's just probably the timing because Buster takes a bit to start it.
It does. I mean, regular Buster is fast. It is only 4 frames, but if you carry it, it adds 2 frames, making it 6, which is not slow, but it's slow enough that.
It's probably slow enough for you to eat the DP.
Yeah, like if it's mistimed even a little bit, I'm eating it. Unfortunately, the gold burst.
But at least he escaped the Garuda.
Again, I think that was supposed to be slide head. I think I must just be mashing out the quarter circles and a bit of a panic here.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. So when I do like a really far away Tenchi Jin, that's because, you know. Oh,
double Mega Fist. Sometimes the second Mega Fist, when I connect on the ground, is simply I don't think they'll expect the second one, and they're going to keep crouch blocking, which I think is what happened there. I just threw out expecting to continue to crouch block.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Oh,
fucking DP's my meaty. Just saw the startup frames of the close slash right before I eat it.
Well, if he can. Oh, okay, yeah. DP is there to stop and.
Just showing a bunch of respect, poking at each other.
That worked so far.
Damn. Every time Senpuu opens me up, he carries me from one side of the screen to the other. That I thought was jump. It was not jump.
And it's Buster.
It's Buster.
You know what? If that happened to me, I would put a hole in the wall.
So like, jumping a Buster is one of those like online Potemkin things that you'll see online Potemkins do a lot, but I don't do it that often. So I think when I do it, I often get away with it because no one's expecting it from me.
Well, this is the one thing. Like, when I face a Potemkin, it doesn't matter when it comes to online. It doesn't matter what level they are. I am at a massive disadvantage because Mega Fist. I don't have any tools against Mega Fist unless I know that it's coming. So the one thing that I would say is getting 5 Mega Fists in a row, only blocking like 2 or 3 of them, and then getting carried to the corner to the Buster, and then obviously Roman cancel, then your close slash down heavy or some, I don't know what is the actual combination to heat knuckle, and then wall break, that kills. So it's just like Celestial Potemkins do not need to know like advanced mechanics. All they need to do is Mega Fist, that one combo, and Buster. That's it. Maybe
next week I should try throwing out the quintuple Mega Fist.
Oh, it would probably work against me. I'm not sure about the others, but yeah, it's the bane of my existence. It was really easy to deal with that with Anji because Potemkin's in the air. Cool. That's it. The best anti-air you can get against Mega Fist. But now I'm just like, okay, if I can see you jumping up, and it's even if it's not Mega Fist, but you're like throwing out a button, if I just do Yozansen as soon as you leave the ground, I'm gonna win. But if you're just jumping up doing the Mega Fist and it's already like at the apex, I'm done. Like there's nothing I can do.
Yes, I think you'll leave the ground for the Yozansen, but before you bring the blade round, you get the fist to the face.
And that's something that I could have done. I could do with Anji because all I needed to do is like I could see that you're going Mega. I think he even says like at least Mega
Yeah.
Maybe not even like, you know, like as soon as I can hear Potemkin say something and I just do my co-input, it will win. But with Baiken, you don't have that luxury, and your 6p is just so like ridiculously small.
So very stubby.
There's just like, it's not something you can use against a Mega Fist unless it's like so like frame perfectly timed that it actually wins. Like the best I can do when it's right above me is a trade. So yeah, it's just, it makes it really difficult for me.
You
But
don't really want to trade with Potemkin.
no. But yeah, speaking of trading with Potemkin, it's me next.
Time for the final challenger.
Oh yes. So yeah, as the two of us, I didn't realize that I accidentally put like a black glory on top of your head, which was not intentional, but it works.
It's my evil halo. What are you talking about?
As the black sun behind you. It's just a flying table.
I like how in the versus screen it looks like Baiken's the one being dropped in and not me.
I tried. The problem is that doing the versus screens with Potemkin is really difficult because he's so big.
He's a big boy.
And it's just like every challenger, I need to get into the foreground in order to balance the sizes. But yeah, it's better with characters of roughly the same caliber. Right, I felt like I was semi-prepared for this. I was trying to get my tether combos sorted. As you can see, I was throwing the Kabaru straight away. But it's just slight head. Oh, that was good.
I have my tether combo sorted out that I'm supposed to land on you if I'm tethered, but I can never figure out how to make it my turn when I am tethered.
Oh, it's really just a flip of a coin. Because when it, yeah. That's what I've been telling you about. Like, I cannot just throw out Yozansen in the air because Mega Fist will beat that. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting there.
Was it parry? I thought
It was.
parry.
It was. I really should just like limit my parries against you. Like there, I shouldn't have done that.
I always wait.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the problem. Like nobody else does. So I'm just like, that's just my muscle memory.
I think with I'd never seen this grab before. That got me good, and that Mega Fist is bullshit.
Yes, I certify that as the biggest bullshit that happened.
I
in
agree.
This gauntlet.
I thought you had just raw hit me.
But no, it's a trade, but I lose because Potemkin. Love the awkward kick. Yeah, it's my generally speaking, I'm reaching the point, and that's when I know that the Mega Fist is coming, so I can actually do the Yozansen. But if it was like even like 5 frames further on, I would have lost.
There's some situations where you can kind of rely on my brain to just do. I remember that. Both of us caught completely off guard by crossing up.
Yeah, that was not meant to be a cross up, and I even threw out the longest normal I have, so I was like, oh, this is definitely not gonna hit, and it did because you were also completely flustered. Yeah, I realized that the best option I have against you is just to throw out Kabari and see if it hits, because if it does, then I have like a tiny window of just getting in and see if I can get something started, and then I just need to get the fuck out, otherwise I'm just gonna get busted.
There, you went for a kick and a grab again. This is potentially one of the things that I feel like has helped me get such a big streak in the past, is often I just need to see a trick box.
Yeah.
Like you hit me with that throw earlier, I had never seen it before, and you went for it again already.
This was also, was it a Mega Fist? I don't know if that was a Mega
That was Mega Fist.
It was a Mega Fist that I tried to poke with my jumping slash, but my jumping slash goes in a diagonal, and it also has a hurt box. So even though we were the same level, just me throwing out that move moved my hurt box into your hitbox, and then we basically got a trade.
That was a very nice parry.
Thank you. I don't always get parries against you, but even when I do, I don't really know how to capitalize because, you know, there's only so much you can do after a parry without a running cancel. You see, this annoyed the absolute living shit out of me because I was like, that should have hit. But then I realized that, okay, so apparently Garuda doesn't have an extended hurt box, which makes it really annoying.
Like, I was in anticipation of a wake up parry, I walked a step back to help time my Garuda, and that just gave me the distance enough to avoid the first hit and thus purple RC back out of range.
Yeah. So yeah, I specifically remember that I was very salty at this, but I managed to like get all my salt out in between matches, so I don't actually get like flustered during the match. I don't know how that actually connected, but I'm glad it did.
Cool.
Yeah,
dancing slightly too early to get the grab. Oh, busted wide.
Yeah, I don't really understand how after the Yozansen I couldn't get a close slash on you, but
I think the recovery from Yozansen and landing was just too long for the button punch for my grab came out.
I mean that's only because of the tether. If it wasn't on you, it would have worked. But the idea was that, oh, okay, what's my fastest button I can get when you're tethered? And it was that.
Having to work around the tether does seem very difficult in that it changes how some of your combos work.
Well, it's not just that, but it also changes based on the opponent's position. So if you jump, you just completely ruin my plan and I need to adjust. So it's really just like at that point it's like a roll of the dice. This probably wasn't supposed to be.
I thought your super flash had eaten my heat knuckle input, and I was getting ready to 2D you for game. Nice. But then the knuckle comes out, get hit by the super.
I cannot believe that a whiffed super, which I actually got because you also whiffed the move as you've done. It's like it actually got me the round. Situations like this should not exist. And there we go.
It's the tip.
It's always like there's so little I can do with the Mega Fist. Oh, I was expecting the Mega Fist there, and I wasn't expecting it there.
I don't know what you're trying to do in there, but I dropped it. Damn.
And yeah, classic hammer fall.
Oh, he pressed the button. Let me just armor through that.
Yeah, well, this is why, you know, you can, like, people can complain like, oh yeah, Potemkin doesn't really have the movement, but really what he does have is, oh yeah, you tried to poke me, I'm just gonna armor through the whole thing and then just hit you in the face, which I can Roman cancel and just absolutely wreck your ass. So
I think this is the one match tonight I managed to land a successful Roman cancel. I got the Mega Fist into purple cancel as opposed to all of my red Romans against Senpuu.
Well, the one thing I'm actually happy about that I haven't eaten any of your heavenlies in a long time.
That's true. You spend a lot of time baiting them when you know I've got the meter, and I often fall for it. I'm not gonna lie.
I more often actually eat the ass drop that you did after that. But when it comes to the heavenly, I try to keep my distance as much as possible, because if I can actually, that is one thing. Like when I'm in the air, I'm actually comfortable unless it's a Mega Fist. So it's like if you jump towards me, I have many options to stop you from actually getting me.
Yeah.
So I can just poke you out with the jump slash or the cannon, or I think even your Zansen has a chance of doing that, but I wouldn't risk it because it's really low range in terms of like what you have for the grab.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least there are situations where I can actually say that I have the advantage. But yeah, so this concludes the bad challenge bit, which means that everybody got absolutely fucked by a 3-0. But the one thing that's really interesting is that I got 2 games on you where everybody else just got 1, which means that this will take us to the biggest Bottonbiichi matchup that we had, I think, ever. I don't think we ever had a I don't think we had like a triple threat for the wooden spoon.
I feel like it's maybe happened once, but I honestly can't say for sure.
Right, okay.
If only your super flash had eaten my input, it would have been a 4-way for the bottom match.
A proper bracket. Imagine having a bracket just to not get the spoon. Oh, that would have been stupid.
It would have been beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, as long as you're
content.
As long as you're holding the belt, you don't care. But it matters to everybody else.
If I can go this entire year without taking home that spoon, that'll be something.
I mean, so far you're the only one who hasn't taken the spoon, and I'm the one who only had it once, and that's because I decided to take it on myself because I lost in such a disgusting way that I deserved it.
I remember sitting after that night going, wait, shouldn't we have played off for that?
And I'm like, no, I need to have this.
Give it to me.
I need to feel the pain.
It'll make me stronger.
Right, let's see the face-offs. Let's see who actually takes the wooden spoon. Let's get into the three-way.
Now, it's time for the face-off to see who takes home the wooden spoon.
Oh yeah. Is it gonna be the permanent holder of the wooden spoon? Or is he gonna pass it down to somebody else?
I kind of hope it's Green Palette. To go from having the belt one week to the spoon the next week must be...
I mean, that has happened to Senpuu before, I think.
Oh, that is true. I think it was early on.
Yeah. We were not quite, adequate at the game to the point where it's just like we know each other enough. That was the time in the games, well, in the BGF history, where I could actually like get the belt on a regular basis because you guys were not ready for me, but I'm always ready for like random shit that could happen.
Yeah, like I think it was in the period where the belt was changing hands essentially every week.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh.
So Senpuu just getting his usual pressure on, keeping Palwa in the corner. This block string is new. He was using it against me earlier in the night and I hadn't seen him using it. Looping into the 6H, which, though it's got a long stab, I'm sure is plus on block.
Yeah. So the only way to get out of it is to call it and just basically do a counter. Or you can also jump it. But obviously, if you're blocking, you're not gonna have. If your mindset is like I need to block everything he does, then you're just not gonna jump. But you can actually jump it.
Like, even though the move is a slow start up, being in the block stun from the previous move, it makes challenging it really kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean that's just conditioning. That's pretty much what I do all the time. I want to make you impatient, so you would press a button, and that's when I throw the fairy.
I think for the most part, I'm decent at avoiding that. But it's purely due to my time spent playing Dragon Ball, where the block strings are so long that I'm kind of comfortable just sitting blocking for.
Oh, did you see that? That was a whiffed grab, just so something could grab him instead.
Honestly, I think when you see a whiff grab, that's one of the best things you can do on reaction is just to grab them yourself.
I mean, it depends because if you have like a good counter hit, you can actually get full-on counter combo in it.
That was very fucking nice. Like. Of course he was using the purple cancel to save himself from getting punished off the DP, but using that into a cross-up was very, very... he just wasn't ready for it.
That's just, the accidental genius that happens with cancels sometimes.
I mean, this is Leo Whitefang, the genius fighter.
Oh yeah. Only two things in this world are insurmountable. There we go. That is something that he cannot really do with me. And he keeps telling me that his general like pressure, and then he just jumps in with the kick. That is something he cannot do with me because I will definitely 6P that. But it works with everybody else, so he said, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like I never try to 6P it, but usually I'm not expecting the long leg to clip me when it does. It's a very, very long leg.
I mean, this is something that, is just jailer influence, I would say. That if you see somebody approaching from the air, very few things don't get beaten by the 6P if you time it right.
6P beats all my normals!
Except, yeah, but it doesn't beat Mega Fist.
Except for Mega Fist, yeah.
That's my main problem. And there you go, it's the kick again.
This is something that I've tried to talk to Case of Chaos about. When he jumps, his preferential button to press is the jump slash, which though fast is very, very stubby. Even when he's doing a jump in, where Senpuu will use the jump kick, which is very long, and I think Case of Chaos would really benefit from just using the kick.
Oh yeah, and it's just like, well, not only the slash is stubby, but it keeps your hitbox really, the hurtbox really low. So if there is not something that you can only use the air to air, because if the opponent is ready for you on the ground, you're definitely getting hit.
Yeah, like often you'll see him jump in with the double jump slash, but he has to wait so long to get low enough to hit you with the jump slash that you can often just punish him.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't do that. The one move that is like similar in terms of qualities to Bicon is the kick, because it has a high hitbox, but it has a low hurtbox. So it's like if someone's already in the air, it's a really good like challenger if you just jump up and challenge him.
Thunderbird making excellent use of his 2H here.
And he's the only one among us who's like properly using the yellow Roman cancel all the time.
Yeah. It's one of those things that started to creep into the group's gameplay, but Green Palabard more than most is taking full advantage of yellow cancel. Get off of me.
I don't see the incentive for myself to use it, because if I can yellow Roman, I could also just parry. So why would I yellow Roman?
That's very true. I should make more use of it, because I can yellow Roman into Kara Buster, but that requires a level of confidence on the inputs that I don't always have.
Oh, the rainwater is too far for that.
Oh, drops the pinball.
Oh, that was like 1 pixel away from his face.
Just catches him with the gold burst, get a nice bit of full meter. Power spin everything. Oh, the iframes of the super to smash him through the wall. Let's go.
He actually started using this super against me, and it is surprisingly effective, because nobody really does wake up supers apart from GPB and myself. So when one of you start doing it, it's just like, oh, I don't like it.
I wasn't ready. Oh.
Well, I would say that you use the wall as a wake up super from time to time, but it's still not common enough.
I think often it's the choice between doing the wall and just holding the block. And half the time when I go for the wall, I drop the input, so it's safer to just block.
Yeah, but also, high risk, high reward.
Indeed.
Yellow Roman again. I should get like a yellow Roman counter. I'm not gonna do it, but I should get a yellow Roman counter for GPB. not doing the counters again, it takes so long to do them.
I suppose the use of yellow Roman cancel from GPB is a bit of a double-edged sword, because he does tend to get quite good mileage out of his wake up super, and I feel like he's pretty consistent to get the input out, but by spending his meter on the yellow Roman, he's removing that option from himself.
Yeah, but if the yellow Roman cancel just cannot be blocked.
This is also true.
So it's like if the yellow Roman cancel comes out, you're definitely getting pushed back. But if you block the sickle storm, then you get a fat punish.
I think it was very smart of Senpuu on that purple cancel to just back out and block. If he'd gone forward from it, he might have got hit.
Oh, that was.
So that's one of those rare punish opportunities that you can get on Palabard. Sometimes, I'm sure it's like range and height dependent, when he does the pull in after Rensen, when you land him, sometimes you land on the other side of him, and if he does the close slash, it whiffs on the wrong side, and there is a window to mash out a jab, but you've got to be ready for the gap because it's not a long one.
Okay.
Again, using a sweet purple cross up to take the match.
Yeah, Senpuu could get in on this one, so that means that he sits on the couch for the next one.
Senpuu he's very aggressive and he loves the rush down play style, and Palabard does crumble under pressure quite frequently, so Senpuu, it does feel, is one of the better ones at applying that pressure to the Palabard.
I mean, I think he admitted in the try challenge video that all you really need to do is apply pressure to him, because he cannot deal with that.
No,
so it's just when it comes to GPB, what you want to do is that once you're in his face, stay there as long as you can, because he will do everything in his power to just get out of that.
Yeah, watch his meter, just keep pressing buttons on him.
It's probably going to be a yellow Roman or a wake up super, but apart from that, he's just like at your mercy, and that's exactly where you want him to be, because once you're further away than quarter of the screen, like if you're in footsie range, you might be able to do stuff, but once you're like half screen away, no.
Nah. I feel like in a lot of these situations that the Pallet could just 2k his way out because it's such a fast button, but he's not thinking about it because the pressure is invading his mind.
He uses that against me quite often, but the thing is that even like because my pressure has like gaps in it that sort of allow him to like, oh okay, right, so I should get the 2k out. But every time he has the opportunity to get the 2k, I also have the window to parry. So he's really like hesitant to do that because, you know, if I do get my parry and then I Roman cancel, like I pretty much get a free wall break.
I guess the only time it's really safe to do it is after the first hit of the tatami.
Yeah.
Block hit 1, kick your knee.
But usually if so if I'm far enough away and he blocks the first hit of the tatami, he usually just throws the I think it's the the 2H that goes like, it's kind of like a Rensen, but it's no Rensen.
Yeah, 2H.
Right, okay, so that breaks the mat and it hits me for a counter because it's fast enough to hit before the tatami ends.
That's probably a better button than the 2K if you can get it out, to be honest.
Yeah, and it reaches further.
Right, shall we get into the next game of the spoon battle?
Oh yes. Right, so we have Case of Chaos facing the green Palabon, because you haven't seen enough Axel versus Leo yet.
Come on, Chaos, you can do it! Get him!
Yeah, pass that wooden spoon, you don't need it anymore. Oh, that is not a great start.
So, Case of Chaos has been improving significantly the past couple of weeks playing against the green Palabard. I think he really is gaining a great understanding of what he's supposed to do in the matchup. But
I think he still just has a respect for you, because if you see what's going on here, like once he gets hit, he just crouch blocks, and then it's like, oh okay, no attacks are coming my way, so I'm just gonna inch forward, and as he's inching forward, the attack is already coming towards him, so he gets hit by it.
It's like there's a universal wait time amongst everyone that, okay, I can press a button now.
Yeah, that's I think there's like roughly like a second and a half where people are just like, okay, I've been waiting enough, I should press a button, and it just seems to be the same for everyone.
Drops his combo but picks it up anyway, gets the perfect, damn.
This was the time when he was just like properly complaining about how it's like playing against the Palabard is like, even just looking at him doing his stuff is really annoying.
I can understand that. I often sit on the couch watching Palabard play and feel my frustration level rising just watching him. Yeah,
and I think what has happened is that since in the previous game, like he could see Senpuu playing against Palabard, so he already like, it's almost like a premeditative salt that he just managed to build up. So he's just going into this match as like, oh, I absolutely hate Axel and all the shit that he does. And
starting out a little salty.
Yeah.
It's never a great place to be.
Oh no, especially not for him, because it's always like a slippery slope when it comes to salt with him.
Good reaction on the grab from the Palabard.
Oh, the one thing I would say about Palabard is that he tends to, well, obviously he wants to keep away from you, but that means that he's always backing himself into the corner.
Yeah, sometimes you can not necessarily just walk at him, but kind of just walk at him and he will back up for you.
Oh yeah, it just feels like you don't really need to pressure him into the corner, because eventually he will just put himself there. Oh yeah, the classic Case of Chaos combo.
The blue Roman cancel to gain some distance was good, but exactly as we're saying, it put him into the corner, allowing Case of Chaos to attempt for the pinball, just the wall health was a bit too weak for him.
Oh, that is so close.
Again, I think that might be one of those respect situations.
Yeah, it was definitely just him not pressing a button where he should have.
If he'd just done 2D off of that dash instead of stopping and blocking, I think it would have hit Palabard out of the 2H startup.
Oh yeah. That's pretty much the same problem that he had with you, even though you're the polar opposite playstyle to Axel. Just giving you the respect when you don't deserve it.
Weeks where I'm switched on, if he gives me that respect, he gets busted.
Yeah.
We spoke to him at length that the spin after Rensen has no upper hitbox, so he can just jump over it, but I don't think that's quite cemented itself in his mind yet.
Oh no, it's not like, once you... this is something that I have...
Just grab, son.
Yeah. That's and it doesn't.
That killed, goddamn.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I was looking at the wrong health bar.
yeah. The one thing that I did actually eat a couple of times is when he's doing the spinny thing after the Rensen. Like once you're in the range of it and you're blocking it, just block it the whole way through. Because I always had this idea that when the sickle is on the other end,
that you could hit him.
yeah, I could just jump up, but you cannot jump up because it's a constant hitbox, even though the animation is giving you a different indication.
Approaching dealing with the spin has become different over the weeks as power bars improved, because it used to be he would do the spin and then it's negative, so you could punish him with a long normal after you blocked the whole thing.
Yeah,
but he started just throwing out rainwater afterwards.
Yeah, it's either rainwater or just like backdash or anything that is like changing his general position.
Like with no air dash, I kind of just have to hold the block, because if I go for the 2D try and punish him, the rainwater gets a fat counter hit.
Yeah.
Like he has effectively feared me out of attempting to punish the spin.
Like this is something that I actually said, when I was assessing the end of the year, that his skills are actually okay. He's just really predictable, but he's been mixing stuff up like decently recently.
Yeah, but it's been catching me the past couple of weeks. I think I know he's going to hit round start, and I'm never correct.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, okay, that was pretty good because it was definitely rainwater after that, so he just like jumped like, okay, I need to catch the rainwater, so he did. And that's the classic, yep, the absolute classic purple cancel combo.
He does like to do the jump dash slash into snail after that, and it's honestly getting me a lot. You never expecting the power bar to go on the offensive and approach you.
Oh no! Once I get hit by his jump slash, I know that the snail is coming.
Mm.
So I'm always ready for the snail. The problem is that I'm always ready for it to come out, but I'm not always ready in my head to just stand up and block. So sometimes I still crouch block and I just get absolutely like fucked by it.
Yeah, or you block first hit and then automatically you crouch again.
Yeah, it's just like I get the first one, I'm like, oh, okay, I still need to block because I know that the next hit is coming, and for some reason I just crouch block because brain.
I often do that against Senpuu. He'll start with the back turn slash, and I'll just crouch, and the overhead nails me, and I don't know why I do it. I think it is a holdover from Fighter Z, but it's just one of those habits that's so deeply ingrained that it's so hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that's why like I started like mashing as soon as I can, because the overhead you can actually mash. But again, that is also something that you need to expect it to come, because if he throws at something else, you're just gonna get countered and just blended.
Get the full combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might have been a 3-0, but I do feel like Queso Chaos is getting a better grasp of this match, and it's not going to be too many weeks until we see the matches between himself and the power bar becoming a lot more even and going in his favour.
I mean, so far every game was a 3-0, so and every game was a 3-0, but none of them felt like a 3-0.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, let's see what the two Leos have to say about this.
The classic mirror match. Let's get to it.
Oh yeah. Right, the final match of the evening. The two Leos, the resident Bottonbiichi wooden spoon warriors, I guess.
Anga and Bunga at it again.
Yeah, it's almost like every week we have a silverback challenge, but instead of deciding who's the silverback, you decide who doesn't get the spoon.
Who is the wooden back?
Who climbs back on the trees with the spoon in the hand?
Only the victor may walk like a man. The other must return to the trees like monkey.
Ah, yes.
Until another week.
Oh,
flipping him.
Yeah, just jumping right into the DP like you should.
I'm sure we can expect a beautiful symphony of DPs throughout this entire game.
Oh yeah, that tends to be the case. It's just like it's always like who gets the DP first.
Oh, that was very nice. The jump dust pausing there just long enough to dodge the 6B, but Kiske still gets him. combo off of it.
I mean, we do joke about how these two always fight for like to avoid the spoon, but that also means that these two have been fighting each other for so long that we're actually getting some like proper mind games going.
Yeah.
Well, that should have been a block.
I don't know if it was intended to get the blue cancel, but I think the shockwave just missed Case of Chaos, so he didn't get the slow down.
I think he did. It's just he didn't block.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that is something that Senpuu started using against me a lot, because you know, once you run up and you want to press a button, it is very easy as a defensive measure to just throw out 6p and just stop anything that comes your way. But you know, when you get a low hit, that is like the one thing that you cannot stop with the 6p. So I quite often just get blown up by that. I think it's... Is it 2S or is it 2H?
Oh, the low sweep and slash?
Yeah.
It's 2S.
Right, okay. So that's usually how he opens the match.
It's quite long as well.
Yeah.
It's not quite as long as the stand slash, I don't think, but it covers more distance than you think it may.
Especially if you extend your hurt box with something. Oh, he's doing really well with comboing the DP into a string. So it's like when you think that it would be just the end. Oh,
oh yeah, let's go.
The consecutive DP counter.
Like for as much as we see Leo gameplay, I love it when they just DP each other back and forward.
I remember that one occasion where they were just like doing some friendly sparring, and I absolutely lost my shit how it was just a DP fest.
I think it was the entire round, almost entirely DPs.
Yes.
Senpuu takes first game.
Nice. I mean, it wasn't as... It's not one-sided, that's the thing, like none of these matches are one-sided, even if it's a 3-0. It usually comes down to like, to the wire. It's almost always the case.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get perfect here and there, like you got from Case of Chaos in the first game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually like... It usually depends on who makes one mistake that shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, because it's very rarely someone just get run over. It's more that they simply just lost. You know, one or two more mistakes than the other player, and that was that.
Yeah. Although I do prefer when they kind of drag out, so it's like, you know, it comes down to game 5, because
that's when the arse clinch comes in.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you get your arse just forming a fist and then just root for one of them, but it's usually... I know it's more work in terms of like video editing, but it's a small price to play. Sorry, small price to pay for such excitement.
I think I missed that on Monday night. Like Case of Chaos is getting frustrated, but they're just teabagging.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this was the point, just so the audience understands. Like, Case of Chaos has reached the point where he was just like mentally giving up, like getting like very salt like urination, and instead of like focusing on the game, like you will see it, like you could see it in game 2, but in game 3 you will absolutely see that his mind was completely down the gutter. So it was just no. you will see that he doesn't...
The burst input audible round the world.
Yeah, so like I could hear the stick like crying for help because he was smashing it so hard. So you can see that Senpuu at this point knows that he is absolutely in control because Case of Chaos has absolutely no control over himself. So he just throws out the most basic bread and butter combos and wins because he's just smashing.
I think there before that hit you could hear Case of Chaos mashing the slash button on his stick.
Yeah.
So you knew it was a counter hit coming before it happened.
So yeah, so you could tell that he was not holding back because he was mashing buttons, which means that you can just do whatever that's meaty because he will not block it. And oh, there we go. DP. He goes for the DP as well, of course. And that
again.
Yeah, he goes for the other DP. It feels like he has. There we go. It's just spamming the DP.
He's DPing out of frustration.
Yeah. Although it is actually yeah, it's actually working in this case.
Nice grab. That's something I've noticed from Case of Chaos as well, is if you grab him, he is almost always going to try and grab you off shortly afterwards.
There's like,
something about it.
Oh yeah, this button exists. I forgot.
It's a little bit of a tit for tat. Like, if you grab him, he's going to try and grab you back, and I'm not quite sure why.
Because you don't get to grab him without receiving a grab back. That is just how it works.
I am king of Illyria.
And I made a point with this podium not to change it from last week because the standings are exactly the same, which means that the skill is about like nothing really has changed. It's just the results are slightly different. It was like it was more one-sided in each match, but at the end of the day, everybody is where they were before. So yeah, even though this was less exciting than last week in terms of like games just like dragging out, it is still like
there's still a lot to say about it.
Oh yeah, like it's still representative of what we normally would do, and this is why I can tell that I have every tool to defeat you. It's just the fucking Mega Fist.
Good old Mega Fist. Nothing beats that.
Yes, and sometimes Hammerfall, but it just feels like that even Case of Chaos could bring you down based on what he has produced in this particular gauntlet.
Agreed 100%.
So like it really just comes down to who makes one mistake that is like absolutely punishable to death. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think as a unit, as a team, our skill level is like pretty even. I would say that Palabard and Case of Chaos need some more time in the game because I don't think they play enough in terms of quality gameplay. So they don't really like specifically target their weaknesses and then try to do something about them. I think Palabard kind of does that, but Case of Chaos
he's a quantity guy when he's practicing as opposed to really focus on something. Because
I think like having if you spend like 3 hours in practice but you do stuff that you already know, that is, you know, that's not something that is useful. But if you try and nail something that you have been struggling with for half an hour, that is much more quality than what you would get from like a really long practice session with no improvement. Well, that's
like you just got to recognize the holes in your game plan and see what you can do to patch it up.
Yeah, I mean, like the one thing I would say that he would be all right if he didn't get so salty after one punish, because if he could just like keep cool after eating a massive punish, I think his performance would be much better because he wouldn't be like caught up on the fact that he just lost more than half his health by a single punish.
Turns out his worst matchup is himself.
Yeah. it's like you can see the Case of Chaos shadow just like looming over him as he's playing, and it's like every single time he gets a punish it's like creeping in.
We love you, buddy. We're not trying to rag on you.
No, like this is fully constructive. Like I'm not saying that, you know, like I'd specifically avoid stuff that are like demeaning in any way. It's not. It's clearly just like
I think we just see his potential more than he does, like more often than not.
Oh yeah, like, you know, you have these bits where he just goes like, oh yeah, like what is even the point and all that stuff. But like, oh yeah, Palabard did that the other day as well, but it felt more like a joke than an actual like complaint. Whereas with Case of Chaos, you do actually get like genuine salty moments, and it's really difficult to deal with because it is just like blown out of proportion. Like you don't need to be that like fixated on the issues that you could easily work on, or even if you do work, like at this point, if you have the spoon so many times in a row, really all you need to do is to accept that you are the spoon holder, so you have nothing to lose. So just imagine that is your default state, and giving it to somebody else is already a victory. So just don't get flustered when it looks like that you're going to hold on to it, because that will just be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Like, you catch him 5 minutes after the matches are over and he's fine and he'll listen to like the feedback.
Yeah.
But it's just it gets to him in the match, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's okay to get salty, but if he could contain it until the match was over and not let it affect his gameplay, then he'd pick up a lot more wins on a week to week.
I mean, that's exactly what happened in this particular gauntlet when we were fighting. And that reminded me, like, since I only played 3 games in this entire gauntlet, I came to the conclusion that the goal of Monday Night Rollback is to play as little Guilty Gear as possible. Because that means that you are, like, you're like, obviously if you're the champion, you still need to play everybody else. But if you 3-0 everybody, that means that you spent as little time on it as possible.
12 games is a lot different to 20 games. 20 games.
Was it? I mean, yeah. If everything goes to 5, yeah.
Yeah. It's a big difference.
Oh no, wait, no, because 4 times, yeah. So, yeah. So this has been a more like this. I wouldn't say it was a downer. This is precisely why we took this approach. It was more of like a techie discussion on what is happening on the screen rather than like exactly telling what's going on, because it wasn't like exciting in a way that's like, ooh, it could be anyone's game. It's more like what people are doing and how they could, change that up so the game could be a bit more like unpredictable.
Like you see everyone this week, they're still busting out sweet moves and sweet tech, and sometimes it's new stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, I have some new stuff for you next week, so don't worry.
Yeah, and currently as it stands, like you said, it doesn't feel like the skill gap's too different. If we were on a tier list, I feel like the difference between all of us is between A+ tier and A- tier. It's so small.
Oh yeah. Well, in context of BGF.
Yeah.
If we put ourselves in the context of actual like FGC pros, like we are like maybe like C tier or some shit.
We're maybe basement kings at best.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that concludes everything that we wanted to talk about. So,
yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
That's a wrap.
This has been Monday Night Rollback week 23.
We will see you next week.
See you next week. Oh yeah.